Christopher Wolstenholme is perhaps one of the most influential bass players today and has been for the last 20 years. His bass lines are creative, melodic, and impactful at the same time. However, what makes him stand out from more traditional bass players is how confident he is at using effects, especially drive pedals. So it's no wonder that more and more bass players, such as myself, are breaking the established rule of the clean sound and follow the same path that bass players like Chris have opened up for the rest of us. It's okay to have a distorted sound on bass as long as we remember what our essential role in a band is, and that is the low-end pulse of the music. And besides, adding dirt to our sound is both fun and inspiring. Welcome back to The Wetterbass. This is a two-part video on how to sound like Christopher Wolstenholme, the bass player from Muse. Anything but hysteria? Yes, because we heard it too much. And honestly, I did not feel like playing this, yes, iconic bass line, but instead wanted to go through some more famous and less known songs from Muse, where the bass line has its particular space to shine. To do this, we're going to use three pedals that were kindly sent to me by FTelettronica. The PACHYDERM, which is a clone of the ZVEX Woolly Mammoth, the AMIANTO bass distortion, which is a clone of the Human Gear Animato, and the Critical Theory, which is a clone of the Darkglass B3K version 1. By no means this video is meant to replicate Christopher's exact sound. It's more of an exercise trying to get as close as possible using these three before mentioned pedals, plus the Boss OC2 Octave pedal, the GE7B EQ pedal, plugged into the DSM Humboldt bass simplifier preamp with analog cab sim, and in its serial loop a Becos Mini Compressor. In many songs I did have to do some EQ tweaking in post-production, generally adding a touch of low and treble, while cutting the low mids at around 400 Hz and boosting the high mids around 1.5 to 2 kHz to match up my recordings with the original ones. To me, this EQ setting is certainly a mix of cultures between the warm, scooped American sound with an upper mid-forward Marshall British type of sound. It's modern, in your face, and definitely helps the bass to stand out in the mix, while having its own character in order to compete with Matt Bellamy's remarkable guitar tones. Okay, one quick last thing before we get to the sound samples. Chris blends the dry signal with the wet one according to his and probably the sound engineer's likings. So in this video, we will concentrate only on the wet signals themselves. I say this because the PACHYDERM does not have a blend knob, whereas the AMIANTO does have one, which is always great to add some clean signal back into the distorted signal. Let's go through some fuzz settings. Now for one of Muse's most famous songs that they play in all of their concerts. I was not able to get rid of the attack of the note. I don't know how Chris does it. Perhaps you know. So just pay attention and you'll realize what I'm talking about. Another fuzz example, listen carefully to the original bass tone and you'll hear that there is a blend of dry and wet signals. And now for this fantastic tune that was the official song of the London's 2012 Olympic Games. Let's switch to the Amianto. The story says that Chris tested the original Animato pedal in Japan and then tried to get as many as possible just in case. While recording these songs, I discovered that depending on the volume and tone of the bass, the distortion, sound and growl varied a great deal. This proves again that when using saturation pedals, it is crucial to adjust the level of volume and tone on your bass guitar. This distortion pedal has a surprisingly mid-forward character in some settings. And hope you know about motorcycles. I feel that the original Animato has more of a Ducati twin-engine growl, whereas the Amianto has more of a Japanese 4-inline roar. Due to this, I was not able to match how I wanted the drive characters, but still the clone is quite close to the original. Another aggressive bass line that I like a lot. Okay, now for some overdrive. The Critical Theory is a clone of one of the most popular modern overdrive pedals for bass. This version works like a charm to add the right amount of harmonic distortion to your dry signal. It can get super aggressive too, especially with the GE7B in front of it. Right, this is all for this first part. Subscribe to The Wetterbass and hit like if you enjoyed this video. And hit the bell to get notified once the second part comes out. Bye bye.